credits where they suggested that there was a love interest, he almost beat a man to death just because he found out that he hit her. When he saw the bruises on her face, he went outside and literally beat the guy, so they had to hold him back. He was going to kill somebody that desperately. One of the best episodes of the series was done during the first season. It's called Hey Boys Revenge. And what you see up above, Pernell Roberts guest starred. As a very prejudiced man, Paladin learns that Hey Boy's brother was sold into slavery, and going over to save him and help him out, Hey Boy fell victim to the same problem. Paladin went to go bail him out, and when discovering exactly how crooked the schemes were going on, he decided, bigotry, prejudice, who cares, this is not right. And he actually convinces the men, all the Chinese men, to stand up for themselves. TV Guide about 7 or 8 years ago used to watch every TV show ever done, MASH, I Love Lucy, decided to do a poll and asked both viewers and critics, what do you think was one of the best TV shows you ever saw in your life? Of the 100 greatest TV shows ever done, the episode Hey Boys Revenge was actually one of the 100. It was the only Have Gun Will Travel episode marked on there. 3 episodes of I Love Lucy was put on there, but this episode in particular is considered one of the 100 greatest shows ever done on television. And there you see Hey Boy on the same getup.
With this gun, I could have stopped murder tonight. But I've taken it off. That's my present to you. In all my life, I've only seen a dozen real killers. But I've seen 10,000 people that would stand by and let it happen. Which is the greater evil?
What you're looking at is the only episode of the series that broke the opening credits roll. As you saw earlier, the standard procedure was he pull his gun out and make a statement, and that was the teaser for what you were about to see. A nice, clever statement. For the Christmas broadcast called The Hanging Cross of the first season, they decided to go a little different direction. And while they were filming it, in this particular one scene, when he hangs it, they actually told him, we're going to do something different. Stay right there. And then they decided to ask him to do this little monologue for the very beginning. So there's a scene where he's right there by the pegboard, but they filmed it the same day. And it was a sporadic decision they decided to do right on the set, and they kept to it. It's the only episode in which Paladin decides, I'm hanging up the guns, even when I have to face against a bunch of people with loaded guns and bullets. It's also a great episode and one of the many examples of why the TV series, is a little bit more superior to the radio series. A lot of people say, well, the radio series is great, and it is. But I grew up with the radio program, loved the show, and as soon as I started watching the TV series, I realized this is a little bit better. Usually the first thing you watch, the first medium, or the first you listen to, you get hooked onto. Gunsmoke, I watched the TV series, but when I heard the radio show, I realized, oh, there's no comparison. The radio show is better. What you're going to see is a couple scenes from The Hanging Cross, and I'll explain to you why I say this is much better than the radio production. Paladin prevents a lynching at the very end and creates peace between the Indians and the white people. Taking down the gallows. There's a cross. And the very gallows that caused all the problem. On the radio series, they couldn't do this, and they did take this script and adapt it to the radio program. The television series was filmed in a cinematic viewpoint, but the scripts were very good. They insisted the dialogue be well done. And even though in the credits 1 or 2 people were credited for the teleplay, many of the times the same staff would pass the scripts among each other, and they kept doing rewrites, mainly for dialogue. They wanted sharp dialogue, something to leave the viewers a good reason why they should come back and watch it again. Break the mold in TV westerns.
Is there a point where they ever explain the meaning of his name? Do they consider it obvious?
No, actually, I'm going to actually show you the origin, and how the name does come out to that. During the first season, there's an episode called The Return of Dr. Thackeray. That's the one in which Paladin almost beats a man to death because the woman he loved was actually smacked and bruised in the face a little bit. In that episode, he has to face off against a young man, and I apologize I didn't bring that footage. The young man's called Johnny Western, and anyone who's familiar with the TV series knows he's the man who wrote the theme song for the closing of the TV series. It was used in the closing credits. During the first season of the series, they actually had the closing credits with the same Bernard Herrmann score you heard in the beginning. During the second season, as a thank you, Johnny Western, for being on the show, wrote a composition called The Ballad of Paladin, which is a vocal theme. And they decided this is nice, so they paid him. And to this day, he still gets royalty checks every time it's aired on TV or released on DVD and video, because his song is featured in the closing credits. Anytime there's video or DVD releases, the companies have not really paid close attention to the prints. There are some episodes during the first season, if you look at them, where the closing credits actually has Johnny Western's closing theme. And that can't be because he wrote it at the end of the first season. What it was the summer reruns from between season 2 and 3 and so on. So they're actually using the reruns. The story's intact, but when you watch that, you realize it's not the initial airing for when you want to be really picky on getting those exact episodes. This is, of course, the theme everyone's familiar with. That's Bernard Herrmann's music score. In the movie Stand By Me, there's actually a scene in which the song The Ballad of Paladin is sung to a young kid. Turns out they were doing Johnny Western's theme song, which is the closing credits, and his executives, Rob Reiner and such, did not know the difference. What he ended up doing was paying for Bernard Herrmann's music score. They just didn't know there was two different themes. And after the movie came out, Johnny Western said, oh, no, I own the rights to that. And they had a whole lawsuit. And at that point, it became very public. There's two theme songs.
His fast gun for hire, he's a calling wind. A soldier of fortune is the man called.
You also notice the music by Wilbur Hatch. In the early 1950s, a lot of musicians were very upset that their music was being reused without their permission. If you wrote a composition for an episode for CBS, say Alfred Hitchcock Presents, CBS put it in their film library, and they were reusing the same music. Musicians didn't like this. They almost went on a strike, and the Musicians Guild decided to come up with a rule, and all the networks abided by the policy. It has been in effect throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I don't know if that was revised later. But if you watch any TV series, say about the season box set, and they do 39 episodes in a season, a minimum of 13 episodes per season are required to have original music scores. The broadcasting companies can redo the remaining episodes or whatever they want, but at least 13 have to have original scores. So you'll always notice, if you keep track of the closing credits, who did the music, and there's a couple episodes where the music is fantastic. A Head of Hair and Genesis have really great music scores in the background. They are only done, if you count them, there's only 13 per season. This is the same for Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Rifleman, Gunsmoke, and so on and so forth. So if you hear the same music scores in the background when they're getting ready to face off Gunsmoke, you understand, okay, yeah, that can be. But they have to keep the stock throughout the entire episode. They couldn't just have a original music score and then a partial stock music. They had to do all original music for the entire episode. During the second season of the series, it became very popular. CBS gave Norm Macdonald the opportunity to do the radio series. And, of course, as you mentioned, it flopped. John Dehner was interviewed a few months before he died in '84, and he actually straight out admitted before it was brought up, he goes, yeah, those scripts, when we were adapting them for television, they were bad. That show almost went off. They almost pulled the plug. But then the person who started writing the original scripts for the radio series was actually Ray Kemper. He was one of the sound men. And it turns out of the 5 or 6 episodes he wrote, they turned out to be the 5 or 6 best episodes of the series, of the radio series. So sound men were writing scripts, the cast was writing scripts. John Dehner wrote 2 under an alias. As long as they took the money, they took them as fast as they could. They needed scripts. They didn't want to adapt from the TV. The funny part